Okay. So we're just gonna run a filter for go to my reports, new report, and report. And let's run a filter. Let's go actions and opportunities. Flop. Flop opportunities.
Oh, okay.
Opportunity. C-bet opportunity. Okay. Hit add to filter. Okay.
Save and apply?
Yep. So you're going to work within this filter on your own too, and key thing to remember is no hands.
No, I just selected a specific date. That's.
Oh, okay.
And this is PokerStars. PokerStars sucks.
Not many people want to play stars anymore, I feel like.
Yeah, I uninstalled PokerStars because yeah, since they introduced these bounty builder format, it's even more crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to play on there, especially mid-stakes grinders.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to be working within this filter, and I'll give you some detailed stuff of what to do. Alright, so replay all these hands. Okay, so the whole idea... Oh, your HUD's so ugly.
It's getting... It has become even bigger, you know? I've added a few stats.
A few? Yeah. So the whole thing why people always kind of see bet as the pre-flop raiser, that's actually based upon range advantage. Like the person who raises is representing a stronger range, therefore they get to bet a lot. But the thing is that isn't always the case. And you need to be able to realize when that's not the case, because if you raise pre-flop and you actually no longer have the advantage and you try and bet a lot, you're, especially out of position, you're going to run into a lot of trouble. Okay, so let's play out this hand. Let's go to flop. Okay, so here's an example where we could see who has the advantage. So, and let's just assume small blind isn't in the pot. Alright, so pull up a slice, basically. EV slice? Yeah, you see it's next to your poker checker.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's my daughter. Okay.
No problem.
Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to plug in your range. And then you're going to plug in the board.
My range for opening from the hijack.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And so key thing when you're studying this, and maybe write this down or just keep it in your memory, do not try and get the ranges perfect. A few hands here, a few hands there doesn't make a giant, huge difference. You don't want to like spend all that time and energy and stress trying to get it perfect.
Okay.
So when you're doing your own range, don't spend a long time. Okay. All right, now hit OK. Okay, now plug in the board. Okay, now plug in the range you think he flats with pre-flop. And again, don't try and get it perfect. Just try and do the best you can, within a reasonable amount of time. If you're spending 2 minutes on this, you're spending too long.
Okay. Maybe something like this?
Yeah, I would take off like ace 7 off, ace 8 off, king 9 off. Okay, we could run it like this. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you, when you're working on your own, to guess who has the advantage, and also guess what your percentage is. How much equity do you think you have?
Okay, I think I have the advantage on this board.
Okay, what's
And
your equity?
60%, maybe something between 60 and 70.
Is that okay? Let's try it. Let's try it out. 53. Oh,
Okay.
that was your range earlier. Okay. That was your range at the A7, Ace8. Okay, my bad. Can you pull up your range again? Oh, okay. Never mind. That's fine. Yeah, so it's about 53%. So what I want
Okay.
you to be able to do is for you to automatically look at boards. The end result is for you to automatically look at this board while you're playing and immediately know, in a ballpark, what your percentage is. So like I would have guessed about 54, 55% or something like that.
Mm.
And the way you do this is you constantly pull up boards like this and plug in ranges. And you just do it for just like you would in a sport. Like if you want to get better at shooting your free throws, you just shoot free throws over and over again. Like you want to get better at range advantage, you do this over and over again. And what's key, what's really important is that once you don't have the range advantage, you need to start doing a lot of checking.
Okay. Just one thing. I usually use this program, Poker Strategy Equilib, and there's a tool for equity trainer. Might be useful to start this. Yep.
Yeah, so if you could
You
show me how it works, sure.
Yeah, I haven't used it that often. Yeah, you have to choose a range which you're up against. Here you can switch to user-defined range, what we did now. And and then you hit start training, and it generates you certain flops, and you can guess your equity. It is a little bit like what you told me, right?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, but I haven't used it that often, but also wanted to work with it, but never did it so far.
I think that's one way you could work on it. I think both have their advantages. I think you can do both. And we'll talk about like many ways you can study this. So definitely do both. So a few key things is that to tweak things from here. So you can tweak his range and see how that affects your equity. So
Sorry, what means?
so like by tweak, pull up his range.
Okay.
Okay, so you can add some hands or subtract some hands and see what happens to your equity. Okay, so another key point when you're changing things, don't change things by 1 or 2%. You see how his range is 19%? Right now, can you see that number?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're going to make a change, either take them up to 14, take them down to 14 or up to 24 and see what happens.
To 14?
Yeah, at least that. Don't do like small changes because you don't see big effects.
Yeah, you once have told me 3 ranges, one that's exaggerated, one that's too tight, and yeah. Like that?
Sure. Okay. What's going to happen now? Who has the advantage?
I mean, when I make his range tighter, then his range it's going more to 50-50.
I think you're still going to be up around 52 would be my guess. Let's run it though.
Okay. Yeah. So, what was his equity before?
He was 40, low 47, high 46, and you were like 53-ish.
Okay.
You can run this again by adding a few more big hands, so you can tweak the ranges up and down as you like. maybe not 5% at a time, maybe at least like 2-3% at a time. Or you can change the board. You know, what if that 5, change the 5, turn it to whatever card you want? What if that was a queen? What do you think happens?
Okay. Sorry, my mouse isn't working properly right now. Sorry. Okay. Change the 5 to queen.
Yep.
Huh? No.
You could just delete the 5. Just go in and click. And if you rather use Equilabs for this, if you're more comfortable, then use that. Yeah, capital
No.
queen, and then choose a suit. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I would guess if now it's going, the queen changes the advantage more to my side. That my percentage is going up now
Okay.
with the queen.
Where would you say you're at?
54, 55.
All right, let's run it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you got it. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's really nice to. I really should practice. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Right, and it leads to really big things. This is just the baseline. Like those hands that you've seen in that hand history, the ones I showed you today, like are all based on those types of advantages. And there's different types of advantages, like positional advantages. There's a nut combo advantage. Like when you have more nut combinations, you have a big advantage too. There is flexibility. There's like flexibility advantage, which is really cool. So
What do you mean by that?
So there's situations where, and this is more of an advanced area, but where your opponent can have the range advantage, but you would still have the advantage because you have a range that can make flushes and straights and 2 pairs and stuff on the river, on the turn and river, but your opponent's range is just going to be like 1 pair. So like an example is like the board's 10, 9, 7, 2 spades, and your opponent has a really tight range. Like if his range is over pairs, those are hands that are just going to end up being 1 pair by the river, right? Even though he has the advantage. But I'll have a range that can be 2 pairs, that can make 2 pairs, that can make straights, that can make flushes on the turn and river. So
And yeah.
and
Yeah,
that-
and by.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you talk.
Yeah. And my next question was what you meant by combo advantage, but I can imagine what you mean by that. More card combinations. But
Right. So in that type of spot, even though he might have the stronger range, I can apply a ton of pressure because I'm going to make bigger hands by the turn and river if we have like lots of chips. So you might see me raise them on that board, bet turn, bet river, bet all in on river, and put them in like a really tough spot with 1 pair or something. But anyways, this is where it all leads from. Like you have to start with the fundamentals. Like this has to be super easy and super simple for you.
yeah, it's cool. But yeah, the thing when you sent me your history and I told you, yeah, I mean it's quite different from the stakes that I play.
Right.
Yeah, of course it's different.
Right.
But yeah, one concept which has also to do a bit with range advantage, I think. What you said with flexibility, when he only has an overpair, and the best thing maybe you can make on the river is maybe top set or something like that with
Right.
aces. This also falls a bit into the concept attacking kept ranges, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and this is a concept I feel it's not really. I can't really apply this on my stakes because, especially on weekends or especially on French sites, maybe.
Right. They're just going to call with the ace.
Yes, right. Even if there are 4 hearts on the board and they have ace of spades and yeah, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, that's more of like an advanced thing. So basically, we can kind of disregard that for now. It sounds like a concept you already understand. But basically, getting good at this, and when you have a disadvantage, you start checking. So, can you think of a board where you might have a disadvantage? What would you have to change this board to for you to have a disadvantage?
When I switch, low cards,
Okay,
I guess.
try it.
Maybe a board like this.
All right. So you think he's gonna have the advantage now?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. No, but my equity dropped down on this
Right.
board.
So like a key thing is when you're 50-50 and you're out of position, you have the disadvantage because he has the position, you know?
Yeah.
Right. So for you to do a lot of betting out of position, you want to have the advantage. If you're even out of position, you want to do like a fair bit of checking. But in position, if you're 50-50, that's good. All right. So
Yep,
what
makes
I
sense.
what I want you to practice is doing this, getting in hundreds of reps, thousands of reps until it becomes automatic and easy. And what I want you to do in game is when you recognize you don't have the advantage, to not get over aggressive and do a fair bit of checking, even if that means with good hands too. And that's the adjustment I want you to make.
Cool. Okay.
And that is basically it. Other ways you can work on this is you can play heads up with someone, and whenever you can decide what your ranges are going to be. You could say, hey, Bob, I don't know, say your friend's name is Bob. You open 20% and I'm going to defend with this range. And then when the flop comes, we both have to guess who has the range advantage. And you could keep replaying that. Or you can do like a scoop replay or something like that, W scoop replay, and whenever someone gets the flop, think about who has the advantage and then run the actual numbers. Or you can use your training way, the Poker Echo Labs training thing. You can do this for other spots, but I recommend starting with this. I mean, you can do this for, once you start doing this for turn and river spots, you have to like make it as their range now. So like, if you bet and he calls, right, and you want to do range advantage on the turn, you have to do the range he called the flop with and the range that you would bet the flop with, not the range, and then see who has the advantage.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't get it. Sorry.
Right. So let's say you bet this flop and he called, right? And the turn was a 3. And you wanted to see who had the advantage. You would have to put the range you bet the flop with and the range he called the flop with.
Yeah, okay.
Not the range you would raise with pre, and not the range he calls with pre.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Other key thing is if you want to do range advantage when your opponent is the aggressor. He raised pre-flop, and then you called, and then he checks to you, right? Now let's say the positions were reversed. You were the guy on the button, and he checked to you. You would have to do the range that you think he checks the flop with. But that's further down the road. But practice this until it becomes second nature, really easy. Getting hundreds of reps, thousands of reps. You could just do this one spot and change the board. You can look at a new spot. Just make sure you're putting in the reps, changing things. You can mix it up. I give you 4 ways to practice it and train it. Did you have any questions? Any spots where you think you might get confused or hung up with, or anything?
No,
like that?
not so far right now.
Okay, and let me show you some quick examples of how I use this out of position. So let me go to my side really quick. So let me show you some quick examples of how I use this out of position. All right, that's important.
I can't see your screen. What do I have to do?
Yep, my fault. So flop, set opportunity, and details, player position, flop, out of position, flop, check flop. Alright. So this should work.
Um,
Can you see my screen?
no. No.
You cannot? Oh, I didn't share it, that's why. Sorry. Alright, here we go. So here are hands where I use this, and sometimes like every hand isn't gonna go well, but like here's what it's like. So, well, this hand was really fucking weird. Never mind that one. That hand is different. So here's a spot where I don't think I have an advantage. So I 3-bet pre. This guy cold calls, that guy calls, and even though it's a low board, I think these guys had the advantage. They had the positional advantage as well, so I end up checking. I do end up getting a free card and checking and losing. Here's a spot where he actually has the advantage. This is a good board for him. He has a tight range. My range just doesn't hit as well. He's in position, so I check. It checks through, and then I bet turn. After he checks, advantage switches over to me. So if you're the pre-flop raiser, cool rule of thumb, if you check out of position and then he checks, so if it goes check, check, like this, right, on the flop. He had the advantage on the flop, goes check, check. The advantage almost always swings back over to me. So if you always thought that and always assumed that, you'd almost always be right. So,
Why?
Because he's not checking enough big hands, and I'm checking a lot of big hands. So I'm checking...
On this board?
Yeah, I'm checking all my... Go ahead.
Yeah, that was... You checked top pair here?
Yeah, I checked top pair here.
On such a wet board, where there are a lot of cards on the turn that you might not like.
Yep.
Okay.
And I check expecting him to do a lot of betting for me anyways. And...
Do you check for pot control with top pair here? Because...
It's a lot of reasons. So one, it's because I'm going to have to do a lot of checking with my bad hands. He has the range advantage, so I'm not going to be bluffing a ton. Two, I expect him to bet because he's in position. Whether he knows he has the advantage or not, he's going to have a lot of hands he wants to bet. He's going to have maybe ace highs he wants to bet, gutters, 8x, 9x, maybe just pure bluffs he's going to want to bet. So he's going to do a lot of the betting for me. Okay. 3, I protect myself from getting raised and being put in a really gross spot. So lots of reasons that I end up checking. And 4, I just like to know where my range is. So I actually check my entire range in the spot. And that's, like, for me, knowing where my range is, it's hard enough to figure out where his range is. But if I know where my range is, I can know when I have the advantage, when I don't on future streets. So, like, when this king comes, I know I have all the kings. And that really helps me, giving me confidence to pull off bluffs and do stuff. When I have to think about, well, do I check a king here? How often do I check a king? Am I checking a king with a heart? Or is it king, queen with the king of hearts? King, queen with the queen of hearts? Like, or am I checking king 10? Like, it just makes the game much harder for me. Like, I just know I check a king every single time here. And
okay.
That was a super complicated long answer, but I hope...
No, it's cool.
Okay. So here I have king jack. We're about 50-50 here on this board, so I end up checking. And he checks through. I should have bet turn probably, but I guess I went for showdown value. Ends up betting. So what I end up doing is I end up checking a lot. Like, this is another spot. I might have a slight advantage or something, but nothing too huge. I end up checking, going for the check shove, and getting him to kind of call off at 9-10, which is really nice. I didn't really like this play. He has a really tight range, though, and he bet small, so I thought he had the advantage. I checked. So a lot of the times, when I think my opponent has the advantage, I'm just checking. This is a board where I might have the advantage. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not perfect with this either. But I ended up checking. and I check a lot of big hands there too. I should have bet the turn probably. I could have bet this flop. I should have bet this flop. But yeah, so basically I do a lot of checking when I think my opponent has the advantage. And I bet when I think I have the advantage. And that's basically it. I think a big mistake people are making is just c-betting out of position when they don't have the advantage and kind of getting blown up, losing a lot of money with their big hands, putting too much money in with marginal spots out of position. So definitely think it will help with that, and that's going to move to other spots on turns and rivers, and when you're the flatter. So just work on those specific spots, get better, can move over to another spot, and that's basically it.
Cool. Yeah, very interesting.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Put in the work. I wanna know you're putting in the work.
Yeah. Okay. Do you stop recording?
I stopped.